Hare Krishna. This morning we will discuss two verses of the 10th chapter of the first canto. Chapter is entitled Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. We will discuss text 31 and 32 because 31 has no purport. So traditionally we speak on a verse with a purport of Srila Prabhupada. So here, finally, Lord Krishna is leaving Hastinapur for Dwarka. He has been delayed a few times. I remember in the 8th chapter, Queen Kunti, after offering her prayers to Krishna, she asked Krishna to stay for a few more months. And finally, Yudhishthira Maharaj requested him and he agreed to that, but now he's really leaving. And we will hear of his departure from Hastinapur. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Cheva Narottanam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jamudirayat. Nastapesya Bhadrasu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavato Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. I will first recite the Sanskrit. Evam vida gadantinam sagira purajositam nirikshanena binandan sasmitena jaya hari. The translation. While the ladies of the capital, Hastinapur, were greeting him and talking in this way, the Lord, smiling, accepted their good feelings, and casting the grace of his glance over them, he departed from the city. Text 32. Ajata Satru Pritanam Gopitaya Madhudvisam Paribhya Sankita Snehat Payunkta Chatu Anginim. Ajata Satru, Maharaj Yudhishthir, who was no one's enemy. Pritanam, the defensive forces. Gopitaya, for giving protection. Madhudvisa, of the enemy of Madhu, Sri Krishna. Paribhya, from others' enemies. Sankitaha, being afraid of. Sneyat, out of affection. Prayunkta, engaged. Shatu anginim, for defensive divisions. Translation. Maharaj Yudhishthir, although no one's enemy, engaged 4 divisions of defense: horse, elephant, chariot, and army, to accompany Lord Krishna, the enemy of the Asuras, the demons. The Maharaj did this because of the enemy, and also out of affection for the Lord. Purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Natural defensive measures are horses and elephants combined with chariots and men. Horses and elephants are trained to move to any part of the hills or forest and plains. The charioteers could fight with many horses and elephants by the strength of powerful arrows, even up to the standard of the Brahmastra, similar to modern atomic weapons. Maharaj Yudhishthira knew well that Krishna is everyone's friend and well-wisher, and yet there were asuras who were by nature envious of the Lord. So out of fear of attack from others and out of affection also, he engaged all varieties of defensive forces as bodyguards of Lord Krishna. If required, Lord Krishna himself was sufficient to defend himself from the attack of others who counted the Lord as their enemy. But still, he accepted all the arrangements made by Maharaj Yudhishthir because he could not disobey the king who was his elder cousin. The Lord plays the part of a subordinate in his transcendental sporting, and thus sometimes he puts himself in the care of Yasoda Mata for his protection in his so-called helplessness of childhood. That is the transcendental lila or pastime of the Lord. The basic principle for all transcendental exchanges between the Lord and his devotees is exhibited to enjoy a transcendental bliss for which there is no comparison, even up to the level of Brahmananda. I read the verse again. Ajatu satra pritanam kopitaya madotvisha paribhya sankita snehat patyunkta chatu anginim. Much Yudhishthir, although no one's enemy, engaged 4 divisions of defense, horse, elephant, chariot, and army, to accompany Lord Krishna, the enemy of the Asuras, demons. The Maharaj did this because of the enemy and also out of affection for the Lord. Om Ajnana Timrandasya Chinanshana Shanakya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Chitchetanyamanopistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svamrupakadamyam Dadati Svapadantikam Vandeham Shiyuda Padakamalam Shiyum Vaishnavamsha Shirupam Jagajatam Saganaragnatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Pajanasaitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Saganalita Shivishakam Vitam Shah He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jatpate Gopesha Gopka Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kansana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishavana Sutadevi Panamama Hari Priya Panka Kalpta Rupyasa Kipasana Bhivasa Patinam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namo Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sadi Gaura Bhaktavina Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswata Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paskachari Desatara Srila Prabhupada Ki. The Maharaj Yudhishthir, it is said in this verse, is without enemies. He does not see others as his enemy. but others see him as the enemy. And when Krishna left, he rendered service to Krishna by protecting Krishna with sending 4 divisions of defense, a lot of soldiers. Of course, that was only for the first day or the first part of the trip. But Lord Krishna, Srila Prabhupada writes in the purport, does not need that. But it is mentioned here, Maharaj Yudhishthira did it out of affection, out of love for Krishna. So that is the essence of bhakti, is bhakti ras. Krishna does not need our service, because Krishna's desires are automatically fulfilled. But Krishna wants our love. And this is the essence of devotional service. We do our service with devotion, with love. And that is essential in our process of devotional service, that we never forget that this is the goal, to develop love for Krishna. And to develop this love, it's a gradual development. This love is in the soul. It's intrinsic to the soul. So we are seeking that love in this material world, but we are not successful. We cannot become happy here. The happiness of the soul lies in our relationship with Krishna. And that starts to develop this affection for Krishna, this love for Krishna. This is transcendental love. A love that starts to develop after the point of liberation, or before already to the proportion that we give up our attachment from this world. Because attachment to sense gratification and attachment to Krishna go ill together. If you develop attachment for Krishna, you lose your attachment for this material world. And that is the purification of the heart. That sometimes neophyte devotees begin, they begin the practice and they think they have love for Krishna. But there's a difference between spiritual love and material affection. And Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami discusses that at great length in one chapter in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. He discusses the difference between love for Krishna and material love or lust. As long as there is lust in our heart, there's no place for that transcendental love. Factually, in a conditioned state, we don't know what's real love, pure love. Pure love, the essence of pure love, is serving the beloved without asking something in return. even to the point of sacrificing oneself. And this is Yudhishthira Maharaj. He has this pure love. This pure love, it manifests in different intensities. So what is the test? How can I know that I have a taste for pure love or not? The test is quite simple. When you chant Hare Krishna and your taste for Krishna is not increasing, you don't feel ecstasy, means you are conditioned. So that
Hare Krishna Maharaj, your voice is not audible.
I know that I need the time to put it on again. I was disconnected. That happens here regularly, but I come back. I come always again online when I'm disconnected. So if we don't feel taste when we are chanting, it means we are not on the transcendental platform. That our heart is impure. That love for Krishna starts to develop really when the heart is pure. And that's a long process. That is the level of nishta, liberation. That before, when our heart is impure, these impurities withhold us to give our full love for Krishna. That because it's mixed with material motives. As long as we have material desires in our heart, that yes, we cannot make any progress. That sometimes I've seen in temples that because in the 70s, everyone was living in the temples. I was educated in the temples. When I joined Radhadesh in Belgium, and then the first time I went into the deity kitchen in Radhadesh was the day that I got second initiated. Before I never entered. That I remember that. And the day I got second initiation of Bhakti Charamaj in Radhadesh, after the initiation they called me down and they asked me to go into the deity kitchen, and my job was just to put the jalub, galub jamins, they call it, the sweets. I had to fry them. That all the others were assisting. That, but that's the principle that one should not cook for the deities if one is not second initiated. That's a principle explained by Prabhupada. He was very strong in it. But now in our congregations, everyone wants to cook, and they are very eager to cook. Although they don't have second initiation, some have even not first initiation, but they want to cook for the deities. And then their argument is that, but how can you say that I cannot cook for Krishna? How can you say that I don't have love for Krishna? That's their argument. But this is a very high level of arrogance that a devotee thinks always in himself, I have no love for Krishna. If you have love for Krishna and you chant the holy name, tears of ecstasy come out of your eyes. It is something that resembles love, but it's mixed with these motivations. So this is very important. I see as our movement goes further that we are more and more deviated from Prabhupada's standards. Prabhupada's standards is that one can only cook for the deity when one is second initiated, because the mind is still impure. If we let everyone cook for the deities, or even cook for the Sunday feast and they offer to a picture of Krishna, their consciousness is going into it. What are we offering to Krishna? What is Yudhishthira Maharaj offering here to Krishna? All these divisions of soldiers? Krishna is not interested. Krishna wants the affection. That is what he wants. But if we cook for Krishna, and we are not yet second initiated, and we don't follow the principles strictly and so on, what do you put in your food? Love for Krishna? No. But one can say, yes, one goes into the kitchen, is second initiated. He can also be not pure. That's true. But there is a difference. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Tesham satatayuktanam bhajatam pitpitipurvakam tadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayantite. Krishna says, when we serve him with pritipurvakam, a little love, that then by serving with a little love, Krishna Dadami gives us Buddhi Yoga, gives us realization to the heart. And that's a purification of the heart. Krishna explains that in the next verse. Tesham envanakampatamam magyana chantamaha nasajamatma bhavastogana tipanabashvato. Krishna, with the lamp of knowledge from within the heart, enters the heart and removes all the impurities. But what's the problem? Tesham satatayuktanam bhajam pitipurvakam, a little love. We don't have that love. We don't even know what love is. So what's the solution? Krishna says that vinapana partner pariprasna sivta upadakshan tehyam jhana tatvadakshan. You approach the spiritual master, you serve him humbly. Yeah, you serve him humbly. And inquire from him. What happens when you do that? Yat-yat-vana punarmam evan yasyasi pandavayena bhutani ashyan yutakshashyat matyatomai. You start to see everything in connection with Krishna. You become gradually Krishna conscious. It means, Tesham Satayukshnam, if we serve Krishna with a little love, if we don't have that little love, if we follow the instructions of the spiritual master, Krishna accepted us as a little love. And that's the only way to get out of it, to develop this love. We need the blessings of the spiritual master. If we don't follow the instructions of the spiritual master, we become asar, useless. That's the third offense against the holy name. Guru avakya. We become useless. So one who thinks, oh, I'm going to cook for the deities, I'm not second initiation. is not following Prabhupada's instruction, he becomes useless. So that is something we need to consider. That the devotion service is a process of stages. Stay from prema, from Shraddha to prema. Shraddha, you have some faith. Sadhu Sangha, you associate with devotees. Bhajna Kriya, you learn how to perform devotional service. And then Nishtita, the devotional service becomes perfect. In the sense it becomes fixed. You don't deviate, you follow. It's not easy. And then you can come to the purification of the heart. Then the purification of the heart starts, and we start to develop this love. It's a process that takes many, many years. That if we finish this process, we are liberated. Liberated means no suffering anymore. No mental suffering, no suffering at all. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was on that level. The Pandavas, it looked outside that they were suffering, but no, they were liberated. That because they were completely surrendered to Krishna. So this ecstatic love for Krishna is beyond the pleasure of Brahmananda. So one's heart must be completely pure to get that. Devotion service is a process that goes over many lifetimes. Usually that takes many lifetimes just to come to that point. But Maharaj Yudhishthira was beyond this. He developed love for Krishna. And therefore, this ecstatic love for Krishna is beyond the pleasure of Brahmananda. In Nectar of Devotion, 6 characteristics of pure devotional service are described. First, the first are Klesagni, Subhada. Klesagni, one becomes free from suffering and everything becomes auspicious. This is at length explained in Nectar of Devotion. But free from suffering means that when one has perfected the first stage, the purification stage, and comes to liberation, one has got this level of Klesagni, Subhada, then is fully attained. So the first 2 of the 6 characteristics of devotional service are in the stage of sadhana. And sadhana is the stage from Shraddha to Nishtha. Once you go over Nishtha, the next 2 characteristics of pure devotional service appear. And the third is Moksha Laguta Krit. It puts one in transcendental pleasure. Transcendental pleasure. And that is the point where one is going to experience this bhakti ras, this ecstatic relationship with Krishna. And the Pandavas are situated on that level of love of Krishna. And to understand this, moksha laguta krit, moksha laguta means it's beyond moksha, beyond liberation. Then this transcendental love comes. Then one feels transcendental pleasure. That when one feels a transcendental pleasure, one's heart is pure. One has attained the perfection of life. And in Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami explains there are 3 kinds of happiness. Happiness from material enjoyment, happiness derived from identifying oneself with the Supreme Brahman, and happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. We are speaking here about Happiness derived from Krishna consciousness. That's the platform. But one must give up the first happiness for material enjoyment. One must realize that happening for material enjoyment is factually no happiness. Because je sam spasyabuha, dukkha evate, atyanta fantakantsha, nati shurama ramate buddha. The sages have declared when one tries to enjoy matter, the result is suffering. So it's covers suffering. But one can only give it up when one has the higher taste. To get the higher taste, one must purify the heart and serve the spiritual master, which Krishna considers as love. If we serve the spiritual master nicely, a little love, and he purifies our heart. So everything depends on the mercy of the spiritual master factor. And happiness from identifying oneself as the Supreme Brahman. It's just becoming peaceful, realizing I'm not his body, but that's not self-realization. Self-realization means I'm realized I'm a servant of Krishna. And when you realize you are a servant of Krishna, then you must learn to live in a relationship with Krishna constantly. That is what Kadambakana Maharaj said to the sannyas candidates a few years ago. Sannyas means living in a constant relationship with Krishna. Of course, it's an ideal. But because realizing that you are not his body, that has no much meaning. You remain bound to this material world factory. We must attain this transcendental happiness of Krishna consciousness, which is beyond the perfection of the impersonalist. This is the happiness achieved by the pure devotees. When Srila Prabhupada was in India somewhere, one of the disciples, Mataji, showed a picture to Prabhupada and said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, it looks like you are looking morose on this picture. And Prabhupada looked at it and said, oh yes, I remember that moment. At that moment, I felt ecstatic. So yes, difficult to judge from the outside. But it's happiness beyond dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. And most parts of the Vedas are about dharma, artha, kama, moksha. How to use dharma to get artha, wealth, and then use the artha for kama, for sense gratification. And then if one gets to that and understand the uselessness, then one goes for moksha. But this is beyond moksha. Because only this happiness derived from devotional service is the only happiness which is eternal. Nectar of Devotion, Srila Prabhupada explains that you have the happiness from Brahman, which is temporary. Because when you enter Brahman, you have to come back. That's Yere Vindaksa Vimuktamanast Vastavava Avisuddha Buddhaya. Avisuddha Buddhaya, their mind, their intelligence is polluted. Because they don't understand who they are. They only understand that they are not a body. They think they understand I'm Brahman. But who is this Brahman? He's a servant of Krishna. As long as they may be peaceful for some time in the Brahma Jyoti, but they want activities. Because that's what every soul is craving for this relationship with Krishna. That living in this bhakti ras, This bhakti-rasa is different from material sense gratification. Bhakti-rasa is uninterrupted. To attain that, we must be uninterrupted in our Krishna consciousness. It's always that. Whereas material happiness is very short, that it's always bhoga tyag. The tyag is very long, whole week working, and then some sense gratification in the weekend, and then it starts again. Bhoga tyag. Eating a pizza, good for 10 minutes, and then again, wait till the hunger comes. No, bhakti rasa is different. In our relationship with Krishna, we are always in transcendental happiness. That and the Sthai Bhav of Yudhishthira Maharaj was, yes, he was a servant, but he was a friend of Krishna. They lived in a mood of friendship with Krishna, especially Arjuna. That so higher rasas, parental love, and conjugal love, they are especially experienced in Goloka Vrindavan. That, but this is what's essential in our devotional service. It's devotional service. We render service, but it should be done with devotion. In the beginning, we don't have devotion. So we serve the spiritual master. And that's accepted as devotion for Krishna. That we should not proudly declare we have love for Krishna. The one who says that he has love for Krishna has no love for Krishna. Because one who lives in one's relationship with Krishna is on that platform. That is a confidential relationship. It's explained in the 11th canto of the Bhagavatam. If one reveals that relationship, one loses it. It's confidential. That so it's not so easy. That and some of us may have the beginning of the development of this love, and by that they can do great things in our movement. They become the friend of everyone, and that is one of the characteristics of a pure devotee. He attracts so many others, that because he reflects that transcendental pleasure just by being in an environment of a pure devotee, one feels all worries going. And that was experienced with the devotees when they were with Prabhupada. That just by being with a pure devotee. But of course, that being with a pure devotee means how can we still be with Prabhupada? We can still be with Prabhupada by following his instructions. That makes us connected with Prabhupada. And this connection with the spiritual master is as good as the connection with Krishna, because he's the representative of Krishna. So yes, this is the thought for today, that don't forget the goal is to put all our affection in our devotional service, that and follow strictly the guidance of the spiritual master. Otherwise we become asar, useless. We will never develop love for Krishna if we commit Guru Avahyam, not following his instructions. One of the instructions of Srila Prabhupada is to hear and read every day his books. So therefore, this Bhagavatam class is very important. It's an essential part of our devotional life. Without morning class, without chanting our rounds, we cannot have spiritual life. We cannot progress towards developing this love for Krishna. And this love for Krishna we show by serving the spiritual master very nicely, but also by serving other devotees with affection. It's very important. Try to serve the devotees. That pleases Krishna very much. By serving devotees, then generally this love will develop in our hearts. That if we have issues with some devotees and feel aversion, that's not good. Issues may be there, but we should not feel aversion and let it go, because that blocks our spiritual advancement. That you cannot love Krishna and not love his part and parcels. It's going together. We love Krishna, we love his devotees, we love every living entity. It's not that we are going to embrace a tiger. No, but we know it is also a part of Krishna. And the tiger is much more covered than we. The tiger cannot understand this transcendental position, but we can understand. So I think my time is over. Someone has any question? Please, comments.
Good morning, Maharaj. So we shouldn't even keep deities in our house until we have a second initiation, correct?
In principle, that is instruction of Prabhupada, yes.
Okay, but it's still okay to offer boga to my pictures, and I have a little figurine of Garnitai that one of my friends sent me from the Denver temple, but it's not considered a deity, it's just a figurine. So is that still okay, or should I not be doing that as well?
That's okay. You can.
Okay.
You can. It's your duty to offer your food to Krishna, so you need a picture. But you need
Yes.
not only a picture of the deity or Krishna, you need also a picture of the spiritual master.
Yeah, currently I have Prabhupada sitting on my altar, and then I have a Narashim and a picture of Radha and Krishna together, and then I have the little figurines as well, and I have the Panchatattva on there as well.
That's very beautiful.
Thank you. All right, and thank you
you.
for the awesome class. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Krishna Archam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you very much for wonderful class, and I especially like that point that following the instructions of the spiritual master is crucial to make progress on the path of bhakti. And um, just wanted to know your thoughts on um, when we start preaching in a new place. Initially, there are just a few devotees, and we may have something like an outpost or maybe a namahatta or something like that. And when people come, we do offer them prasad. So, I mean, at the beginning, it's not practical so much to have second initiated devotees. We may not even have second initiated devotees, but for preaching purposes, we need to make some uh, offering for maybe some pictures or something. So um, yes, but if we do not have installed deities, we have pictures or we have uh, something like that, then in that case, do we still have to necessarily abide by this, or we have to see the time, place, and circumstance for the sake of preaching?
Well,
So that's my question.
it depends what the situation is. But the beginning devotees, they can offer it to a picture of Krishna. That's all right. But the problem is that because of their impurities, what they are offering to Krishna is not done with a pure consciousness, and that impure consciousness enters the offering. And Krishna may not always accept that. It depends. It depends on the surrender of those who are, even when they are impure, it depends on the surrender. That therefore it's best that for the first 6 months that they are there, that they are not doing that. They first have to develop a relationship with Prabhupada and follow Prabhupada. If they are sincerely following, then they can offer to a picture and bring it to the program. But it's not ideal. It's still not ideal. I remember also that, of course, in many temples you have devotees with first initiation who are helping in the kitchen. But the one on the cook pot has second initiation. That's important. That the one who cooks. But yes, that's okay. But it's not ideal that if we preach first, we must know what's our target, what's our audience. And we must understand their state of mind. And it is more in their advantage if devotees who are initiated cook and offer it and bring it to the program, and not let them cook in the beginning. Prabhupada would not approve that. That is just, we can, if we start to change these basic principles, then that's not good for the consciousness of those who eat the food. Prabhupada's slogan was, purity is the force. So that should be considered. A devotee knows the subtle is more important than the gross. And beginners don't know that. They see only the external, not the subtle yet. And that's problematic. So we need to help them. So we cook and we offer. And later they can assist in programs. That if we are just that so-called for the sake of preaching, then it will be impure. The preaching will not be so effective. Purity is the force. And we have to go back to these standards. And in many places they deviated from it. And why did they deviate from it? When I joined the temple. I was educated in everything in the temple. But you have second initiates who never went, who never lived in an ashram, who never had an ashram experience. They were not educated, not sufficiently. And they get initiation. So that's also issues in ISKCON, but anyway. That's what I could say, Krishna Archampa.
Yes, thank you very much, Maharaj. It makes a lot of sense. That subtle is more important than the gross, and we should be able to see that. That was very insightful. Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay. So,
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Purnashana Prabhu, so tomorrow evening
Yes.
we have the nectar of instruction.
Yes, Maharaj. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.
For me, it will be Friday morning here at
Friday morning.
7:30
Yes.
in the morning. Yeah. That's
So if you have time, sorry, Maharaj. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah,
I wanted to ask a question, if you have time. Yesterday we were discussing during our morning Srimad Bhagavatam discussion that, and today also you mentioned in the class that the continuous happiness or eternal happiness is Krishna consciousness or having loving relationship with Krishna. We understand this because of Srila Prabhupada's mercy and hearing so many times, but then we are not able to act on it many times. So is it because of our lethargy or laziness that we are not able to do? Or is it because of our past karmas that we are not able to practice Krishna consciousness effectively?
Vedas Thakur said one of the main causes of not getting taste is asat trishna. You have attraction for dead things. Attraction for dead things means material desires. It means we are not yet purified, or our purification is very limited. And many times I see that even devotees who are practicing for 5 to 10 years, they are not really becoming purified because they don't have the mood of surrender to Krishna, really. They want to serve, but they have also their agenda, hand in hand. I want this for Krishna, but I want that for myself. And that holds us back. That, of course, there is some taste, but it doesn't break through really. And our mind is worried, and so many problems in this world, attachment and aversion. But it's all for the body. It's all without meaning. But we are so attached, we don't let it go. And that is material desires. The first step is become peaceful. And giving up these material desires starts with wanting to give them up. Have the courage to say to Krishna, please purify me. And that takes a while. I see myself, I'm practicing 35 years, and and still some attachments are there, struggling to give them up after 35 years. But when I fully engage in devotional service, I forget about it, and I'm happy. So that's the point. If we fully engage in devotional service, then we will feel happy, and but yes, it's a process, and we have to be patient. And try our best praying to Krishna to purify us day after day after day. Please give Krishna, please Srila Prabhupada, give me the strength to bear all these trials, the strength to give up these attachments. This is a beautiful prayer to the spiritual master, but in which, I forgot the name of the prayer, but therefore, it's so important to focus on trying to constantly engage in devotional service. And gradually, after many years, one sees one experiences the that all these material desires, they are superfluous to our existence, have nothing to do with it. That I was studying a bit astrology today, and in astrology you can find out what's the moment when you have to die. And I looked at my chart and I said, "Oh, it's not so far anymore." so if you remember that, then what's the use of trying to achieve something in this? No, the focus should be on the relationship with Krishna. And if you start to understand that this material nonsense, the material desires are just nonsense, is keeping me here. That with my consciousness, I want to be with my consciousness with Krishna, but that keeps me here. Then you want to give it up. You become more enthusiastic to give it up, or neglect it, and more focus on Krishna. I remember Guru Maharaj. I was in. I waited for Guru Maharaj in Zurich. That's 98. And everyone was waiting outside, but somewhere I was too late. And he came inside. I was at the entrance of the temple and I performed dandavats. But it was just, he went straight to the deities. It was like he didn't see me. And when he was taking darshan of the deities, he saw the deities, nothing else. He was completely absorbed in it. That I could see that. His absorption was so deep. And that is what we need. That all these material desires and all these things, just forget about it. When you do devotional service, you focus on what you are doing. And that's a training also. And we need strength for that. But once you get this strength, you understand, yes, okay. That is the fertility of material life. It's illusory energy who is just cheating us. That's all. But by the mercy of Prabhupada and the spiritual master, we can overcome that. We need to be patient, but we need to hear these things every day and become more and more serious. I think that it will happen. That's what I could say on that. What do you think, Purnachan?
No, thank you for giving that hope, Maharaj.
Yeah.
Thank
you. Good. Then we see each other tomorrow evening. Hare Krishna, Jai Prabhupada.
you. His Holiness Bhakti
Hare
Prabhupada Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare
Jai.